A fan in the previous video commented and they wanted me to talk about the married beta man. And actually, thank you very much. I don't remember your username, I'm sorry, but I think this is a topic that, yeah, I haven't talked about it and it's important. So let's just start by saying that the younger the beta man is, the less likely it is for him to be married, because you see how it is. Social media have made women's expectations explode. Women will want someone to have the 666. You know what that is. If you don't know, you can Google it. It's too, like, I don't want to analyze it on YouTube in case the video gets demonetized again. But let's just say that usually most younger beta men, by younger I mean under 40, it's very difficult for them to keep up with the demand that what women want from them. But there is a category, interestingly, of men who are usually either over 40 or they are in arranged marriages. For example, many of my Indian clients who are actually married. The bad news first. The life of the married beta man is usually hell. And I say hell because before he gets married, he has only his mother that is harassing him, using him as her emotional tampon, her chauffeur, her unpaid therapist, her ADM, and so on. But after marriage, you're going to have your wife, maybe you're going to have your daughters after a specific age or when they become young adults, and essentially everyone expects things from you and nobody respects you. I'm sorry to put it this like that, but it is what it is, you know, we have to be honest. The first thing that happens is that if a woman married you and you are a beta man, you are not specifically tall or handsome or rich, your penis is below the minimum necessary medically of 5 inches or around there, 5, maybe 5.5, or the people who are messaging me and they're saying, mistress, it's not 5, but it's 4.87. Is it good enough? No. Moving on. So this woman is usually desperate. It's someone that she hit 34 or 35, and to sound like an incel, she hit the wall, or she wants to have kids, and where did all the good men go? She met them in her 20s and she didn't want them. So now things are getting very bad, and she's going to try to find a desperate guy that she can marry and control, which for women is like, unless you are the female version of a goblin, it's not very difficult. The problem is that she's not sexually attracted to that guy, okay? Oh my god, this video is going straight down demonetization. Help. She's not attracted to him, so to put it in a YouTube-friendly way, all the intimacy goes downhill very, very shortly after the marriage. Could be a few years, could be when she gets pregnant with her first child, could be almost immediately. If you are into an arranged marriage that I'm going to analyze on a separate category in this video, it may not exist at all, but this is the extreme case, so I'm saving it for later. So the woman is going to start saying that you don't excite her, she doesn't have the mystery that she craves, you let yourself go, you don't wash enough dishes, you don't do enough laundry, you don't excite her on vacations. There is always going to be a reason. These reasons are mainly bullshit, and the real reason is that she was never really that much into you to begin with. Of course, you will not know that. By that point, if you are beta and you already have a couple of kids, let's make it as horrible as possible, you're working from the like 6 a.m. to midnight especially, and again, no one appreciates you. You may try to find the red pill, which I'm one of the women that I don't consider the red pill like extremely misogynistic. I think it says some very good things that mostly apply to misguided men. Like, for example, if you are of normal height, penis size, and abilities in general, and you didn't have, let's say, a good father figure, red pill can make up for that. If you're 5 feet 2 and 3 inches, you can try all the red pill techniques for the married red pill, and your wife will despise you the same way she did before, but now she's going to think you have a mental illness on top of that, because all of a sudden your personality changed and you're crazy. Now you have several choices. A lot of my clients take the first choice that I'm going to describe, which is they stay in this marriage until the kids are old enough to just, you know, have their own independent life, and they cope on Nightflare, they cope on ManyVids, they cope on Reddit, they cope in general. Other beta men may take a more self-destructive path that I do not recommend, with drinking alcohol, taking drugs, binge eating, race car driving, becoming workaholics and working 2 jobs so they are left alone. Some may cheat with, let's just say, paid escort services, which is again a gray area. In my opinion, there are women who do that willingly, but there are also human trafficking victims, so it's very dangerous. You never can say for sure who does it willingly and who is coerced. But still, if you ask me, I think that this experience, I'm not against like sex work, of course. I mean, if I did all of that and I was against sex work, people would say, get out of here. I'm just saying that this experience, going to an escort or going to have phone sex or, I don't know, having interactive private shows, they do take away the physical need for a while because you have a release. But the problem is that at the end of the day, your other needs are still not met. You are still unappreciated, you are still invisible. If you have a problem and you want to talk to your wife, she's going to say you're just a weak and a loser and she doesn't want to hear it. Like, it's, I mean, there's so much overemphasizing in society about men being like the sex fiends and they only want sex and they can't keep it in their pants. But I'm going to tell you something crazy now, that if someone told me before I got into all of this, I would never believe it. I'm just going to take Night Flight again as an example. On Night Flight, the majority of people who call me do not want to actually just have a sex session. Usually there are so many people who want to also talk about their problems or do something that is like a fetish, but it's not strictly like sexual, like wearing nylon stockings or something like that. And it's crazy. I mean, there are days when I'm thinking, where is the usual normal guy that just want to get off? You know, all of this mental talk, it's like exhausting. It's a mental load. So at the end of the day, you may find better and better ways to cope, but it's still coping. You're not really happy. That's why I'm saying that if you are a beta man, you shouldn't get married, or you should get into a fandom relationship, or you should find a dominant woman who already had kids with someone else. And basically, you need to have clear boundaries and clear expectations about your life before you get involved in all of that as much as possible. And if that doesn't happen, or if you're already married, unfortunately, you are looking up to a very serious divorce. In many of these cases, unfortunately, men have it way harder than women. And when I say that patriarchy harms men in many ways, people again say, Persephone, you are crazy. Just stop talking. Here's the thing though. Patriarchy is also the system that created women taking custody in 99% of the cases and taking all of your money in the case of a divorce. Unless you're married to a female serial killer and you have 5 kids and she killed 3, and this can be proven, you're not going to get full custody of the other 2. So she can essentially have 2 kids with you, and when she decides that she has had enough with you, she just finds another guy, more to her liking, takes the kids, and you have to be the wallet/human ATM for the next 15 plus years. And she's going to alienate you from your kids, bring other men to raise them. And let me tell you, if you say, how is she going to find someone as a single man with 2 kids? There is no shortage of men who want casual relationships and casual sex. So if she hasn't let herself go, even though she has kids, now that she got married and she got the wedding and the day, like the special for her and the kids, and she did it all and she saw it all, she can actually go back to Tinder and fish for tastier fish, bigger fish, more to her liking. But if you go back on Tinder, that you're now older, probably fatter, and you have to pay child support, you are seen as less than garbage by the majority of women. People are going to say to you, find a 400-pound single man and pay for all of your expenses too, because she's not going to date you for free, because let's not forget, you're not attractive, and be grateful, because many of us don't even have that. By the way, I made a video on Psychobomb on my other channel. You can find it on the list of channels below, where I explain why you should just start preparing for the singularity, AI girlfriends, Android girlfriends, and all of that, because for beta men, you don't have that many options with human women. Now, to not make this video a rant, let's move on to the very special hell of arranged marriages. Again, inspired from my many Indian clients that they are trapped all over the world with women who hate them. So when this happens, because I was like extremely ignorant when it came to how bad arranged marriages were in Asia and Southeast Asia, like in many of these cases, you see the woman 2 or 3 times before the wedding, and then you're married to practically a stranger, and then you never have sex. So I'm going to use a story of one of my clients, again completely anonymous for his privacy. His penis was 3 inches, and he married a woman that she was Indian, and they were living in America. A lot of these times, the Indian guy like butts his ass off all of his life with the control of his parents, and he managed to immigrate to America and have a good job. So they find a bunch of essentially predatory Indian women and Indian families who are sending their daughter over there under the pretext of him marrying her. Again, not all Indian women are like that, okay? And obviously, I have a negative bias because only the unhappily married Indian men are contacting me. If you're happy, you're not on night flight. So anyway, this woman went over there and they got married and they didn't have any sex before marriage. And he said that the first time they tried to have sex, that he was also a virgin, by the way, had never had sex before. So she did this like extreme like humiliation. She started saying, if I knew it was so small, I wouldn't have married you. You're a loser. I don't want to deal with you. And basically she stormed out. So he contacted his parents and he was like, this girl doesn't want me. And they were like, you're shaming the family. We're not going to have divorces in our family. Figure it out with her. So because he was also her sponsor, which means that for 10 years after that, you have to be financially responsible for the person, he wanted to try to make it work. She didn't. Long story short, she's exclusively dating very tall, blonde, white men right now. And he's in a one-way cuckold relationship. He says he has started to get turned on by this, that I don't know if it's cuckolding or if it's plain old coping, but it's been years. They never had sex. She says that when she wants to have a kid, she's going to have one with one of the white guys that she's seeing, and he's going to have to raise it. And she says to him that he should be grateful that she even tolerates him. And when I asked, does he allow you to get on night flight? He said that he told her because he doesn't want to keep secrets. And she was like, whatever, I don't care. I'm not going to have sex with you, so go talk to women online. You're like crazy and desperate. So if you're beta and you try to get married using the arranged marriage route, that can happen. I'm saying that because I saw in the many incel communities that I used to like be, that now I'm not because I don't have time, that they're going to say, oh bro, let's bring back arranged marriages. What is that going to change? Women will be women. Women were the gatekeepers of natural selection for like thousands of years, compared with the difficulties of men dying like flies and wars and from disease and from other men attacking them and all of that stuff. So I would say that it's time you sit down and you take a very, very careful look at your life. If you're already married and you got scammed because that's what it is, what's done is done. I would say wait for AGI, wait for the AI era to advance so that if you can actually make more money and secure yourself from the possible, like your wife walking away one day and you don't have a dime in your bank account, ask a lawyer, protect yourself legally. A lot of the times I see men becoming destitute because they don't know the law. You have to go to a lawyer in secret, even if you don't plan to divorce, to know what can your wife do to you. And if you say, oh no, my wife loves me, or oh no, this innocent, clueless, nice wife of mine, she would never do that. Okay, I try to warn you. Anyone can do anything in this life. One of the expressions I love to say the most, it's all good until it isn't. So maybe she's going to have a midlife crisis. Do you know how many women I know that when they hit like mid-40s, they're like, oh my God, I've never experienced romance in my life. Seduction is a skill. And most likely if you're a beta man, you don't have it at all because nobody taught you, and nobody told you that you need to learn by yourself. And even then, no matter what you learn, it's going to end up fail to pick up artistry if you don't have the looks, and if you don't have the confidence, and if you don't have the size of you-know-what for when the time comes. So overall, marriage for beta men, in my opinion, is a terrible deal. The things that you are losing are much more than the things that you will earn if you are in a traditional setting. I would recommend adjusting your expectations, working on yourself as much as possible, removing yourself from the gene pool if you really don't want kids. Like, I get attacked by so many men who say, why do you say that? How dare you say that?